Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Well, it's time for Now That's What I Call Music 118. The series just goes on and on and on. And here I am for the 118th time, just to cast a little eye over what's in store. To spark a discussion, hopefully, get you guys thinking and dancing and loving. And commenting if you like, feel free, let us know what you think of these songs. So it's midway through 2024. This is the second volume of the year. And yep, we're really interested to see which of these songs sound immediately good, which ones maybe don't sound so good, and which ones do we think are going to kind of crack on throughout the upcoming decades, if not centuries, and become all-time classic songs that we come back to. In the same way that we come back to some of the songs on Now One, like, I don't know, Safety Dance or Total Eclipse of the Heart. And which ones are forgotten, maybe like Limal, Only for Love. Although, Too Shy by Kajagoogoo, that's still remembered. So what is it about some of these songs that makes them really something special? Which ones are just kind of fodder, here today, gone tomorrow? And why? And what do you think? I give my own opinions, but I'm always interested to know what everyone else thinks. Let's kick things off then with someone that I've not been a big fan of. She's been on a fair few of these. This is the first time, as I understand it, that she makes song one, and we always play song one, like it or loathe it. It gives us a flavour of what the Now people deem, one of the biggest songs of the moment. It's Espresso. Well, I do like an espresso, although I probably prefer a mocha or a mochaccino. So Sabrina Carpenter and Espresso. I can't quite work out if her voice is nice or annoying in this. I'd say that's a step up because I always used to find it annoying. And in fact it is quite nice on this one. It's nicer than I've heard her sing before, to be honest. Musically, we're straight into 70s disco party mode here. Kind of a bit like latter-day Calvin Harris. It's funny how Calvin Harris has become a kind of synonym for 70s disco stuff. There's also more than a touch of a Dua Lipa about the whole thing. But it's not a bad opener. I was thinking probably the song that really set the template for this stuff almost 10 years ago now. Well, yeah, about 10 years. Lucky, Daft Punk, and of course Pharrell. And then you had things like Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson. So they were the songs about 10 years ago that kind of reopened the paradigm for this sort of stuff. And now you've got people like Sabrina Carpenter doing it. So not a bad opener. Not a bad opener. Now next up we've got another lady who's been no stranger to the world of nows. And it is Billie Eilish. Good old Billie. Now I think this is something of a first, because I think this is the first time it's not been a ballad from Billie. She is full of ballads. Almost every song she's done has been ridiculously slow. There might have been a few that had a few little kind of break beats towards the end. But this is the first one that I think you could call, from sort of start to finish, up-tempo. So yeah, there we go. It's a Billie Eilish song, faster than about 4 beats per minute. That said, it's still a fairly lazy, unobtrusive groove. I'd hardly call it a club banger. And it's got as much kind of rock and indie about it as anything else. What I do like, probably the most interesting sound throughout most of it, of these kind of buzzy surf guitars. And she's kind of had elements of that in her previous stuff. So it's quite interesting to hear it over a kind of faster beat. You've also got these big wobbly bass sounds that come in towards the end. And then it just sort of stops very suddenly and unexpectedly. I would say the voice is probably the worst thing about it, to be honest. She just sounds a bit disengaged. It's not bad. She just doesn't really sound kind of very gung-ho and very passionate. She's not like a natural disco diva. She's more of a whisperer than a belter. You know me, I like belters only. Well, anyway. So, excuse pronunciation. D-J-O. D-J-O, is it? End of Beginning. That's song number 3. I'll try and play as many as I can, but inevitably we're not going to get to play them all. And we're only going to play snippets of them. So there's Billie and Lunch following Morning Coffee with Sabrina. Bit of lunch. So now we've got Afternoon Tea. End of Beginning. And, yep, what do we think of this one? Well, it's a different sound altogether. It's fairly slow. It's quite kind of lugubrious. It's got these sort of synth pop chimes, which are nice. And then over them, or under them, should I say, you've got this sort of chugging, soft rock kind of guitar thing. And the vocals are relatively interesting. Yeah, it's not immediately catchy. Something of a slow burner, I'd call it. I like it. So that's TKO, end of beginning. Now we go to Texas, I believe. Austin, Texas. And it's Dasher. Austin. Boots stop working. I get a bit of this one on as well. Yeah, so what can we say? I've been to Texas. Never got to Austin. Bit of Joe there. DKO, end of beginning. And here's Dasher and Austin. So this follows on from things like Ilse, although that was more about California than Texas. That was on the last one, the last now. We're back in that kind of folky Americana world, and we've got similar kind of ingredients. We've got a kind of 4-on-4 rhythm, not really a dance beat, just a kind of thud, like basically a foot kicking a floor, over which guitars and some strings provide, you know, an acoustic, semi-country flavour. It's nice. So pretty strong start so far, actually. Something to like about all of them. And to stalwarts now. Two people who've been on a ridiculous amount of nails between them. Although maybe Rag and Bone Man's not been here that recently. It seems like it's been a bit of a while since he's been here. So it's good to have him back. And he teams up with Calvin, who's always here pretty much every album. And it's Lovers in a Past Life. That was Austin by Dasher. Here is Calvin and Rag and Bone Man. Now at first, he sounds more like Sam Smith than Sam Smith. When he hits that high bit here, you would absolutely think that was Sam Smith. As the chorus comes in, his voice gets kind of lower and lower, back to the old Rag and Bone Man sound that we know and love. I swear to God, Calvin must have a desk in the corner of the Now offices. So reliably does he come up with the goods. I won't say this is one of his very best, but nothing whatsoever wrong with it, and he does work well with the Rag and Bone Man. Have they worked well before together? I'm trying to think. Feels like they have, but maybe they haven't. They're back in soft club mode here, and you've got these obligatory ATB wonky guitars, even wonkier than normal, like they've been out in the rain and they've warped. This does feel a bit maybe like autopilot Calvin, but nothing wrong with that. You know, if you could do it in your sleep, why not? It's called talent. Now, talking of people making tunes in their sleep, probably the first one I won't play. Not that it's that bad, but it's not that good either. It's someone who's I compare with Calvin quite a lot. They came in at the same time. It's David Guetta. Yeah, they both came in about 2006, 2007. They've been here ever since. They've collaborated with an amazing smorgasbord of people between them. Who's better then? Who do you like better, Calvin Harris or David Guetta? And why? Who's had more hits, do you think? Who's worked with more big names? Well, I would say Guetta's definitely had more cheesy moments than Calvin. Some real shit. But then he's had some absolute true classics. Probably better than anything Calvin's done. Things like Titanium and Crazy What Love Can Do. Even if they were collabs. Now this collab with One Republic, who again they've been around a long time, never really gone ape over them. This is a good example of a more cheesy side to the Guetta world. It's also got that Dave Spoon sound that was doing around back in the days of Lady Gaga and all that stuff. Well, when Lady Gaga first came out. So Guetta's entry here, I Don't Want to Wait. It's very formulaic, as is Perry and Forget About Us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the next one lined up while I tell you a bit about Perry. We'll get a bit of this one on. This is Dua Lipa and Training Season. Okay, so Perry then. Perry. Well, the song is called Forget About Us. It's very unoriginal. It's not bad, but it really adds nothing new to the kind of pop canon. It's a semi-simpering little girl. She crams in too many words. It doesn't really stick to a lean, tight and memorable melody. It's a bit flabby in the melody department. Everything just seems to be autopilot. At least it's at a quite high tempo, so it's not too plodding. That's Perry and Forget About Us. Much better is Dua Lipa, Training Season. That's a good name for a song. Training Season. Yeah. Now, Dua started life pretty inauspiciously from my perspective. Pretty average, cookie cutter stuff, as I said at the time. But step by step, song by song, it's actually improved. And she's got more and more interesting and taken more and more chances. Now here she's an absolutely fine voice. Very, very nice. The music suits her voice. It's haunting. It's atmospheric, while still funky. It sort of juxtaposes these foggy, dislocated chorus verses with this punchy, assertive chorus. So you've got a bit of kind of dark and light there. And also, not for the first time on a Dua release, I find myself drawn musically to the middle eight of the song. It's got these toy pianos and church organs. So this is a contender for Song of the Album. It's just interesting. It's interesting. There's a lot going on here. It's got an interesting kind of chord pattern and just good sounds. Yeah, good sounds. You know, it harks back to the 80s, but it's still modern. This is exactly my kind of music, and there's so much of it about now. It's why I think the recent nows have been some of the best ever. I really do think that. I think that the music of the last couple of years, pop music, as represented by these nows, has been as good as anything. As indeed is the next one. In fact, it's a textbook example of 80s come 20s perfect pop. Don't really want to cut that short. It's a really good song there. A really, really good song. That's Dua Lipa and Training Season. I've just got that The Office thing. What's that guy's name? Rowan in The Office. When Brent brings out the guitar. That kind of vibe. Good luck, babe. Here's Chappell Roan. Just hit me, actually. This song reminds me a bit of Uninvited by the Freemasons. I don't know. I never considered that before, but same chords or something. Similar pianos. But anyway, enough of that. We have got a bit of Chappell Roan and Good Luck Babe coming up. Now this is another one, yeah, it's a sort of hybrid of 80s and 20s stuff. And I love it. Yeah, really good, really good. Okay, so that's a contender for Song of the Album, as is this. Now, imagine something that's sort of halfway between I don't know, Steve Miller Band, Abracadabra, or maybe Matthew Wilder, Break My Stride. With sort of that kind of pure 80s groove. Even I Want to Break Free by Queen. Listen to it. Wow. Yeah, it's still resonant. It's still fresh. The chorus, when it comes in, is nice and uplifting. I'd say her voice is high and shrill, but it's not simpering. If anything, it's a bit like Kate Bush, with indeed Russell Mael, which can't be bad. It's a very interesting composition. It's got lots of fancy chord changes and some subtle orchestration. Really do like it. At the end, it kind of all slows down and grinds to a halt. I don't know if we'll get that far because I've got an awful lot to get through. I did wonder if my computer was on the blink, but no, it's supposed to sound like that. It's all intentional. So, great song there from Chappell Roan and Good Luck Babe. Now another good one. They're coming in threes, it seems. Yep, it's Ariana and We Can't Be Friends. Wait for Your Love. Yet again, more lowercase. She really is averse to capital letters, isn't it? I wonder why. So she's all about the lowercase. She's not case sensitive, as it were. Yeah, this is another really strong Ariana. Is Ariana without Rihanna? Well, yeah, she's without Rihanna, so she's a Rihanna. But she's definitely Grande on this one. Again, I didn't really like some of her early stuff. She has got better and better. Her voice has got really good. Her song selection's got better. You know, she was a bit comme ça when she started. But she's got some good quality control at the moment. And it sounds like a lot of effort's been going into these more recent songs. They're more kind of sonically inventive in a way. Even if the video does take a while to actually get there. These vocals are really, really nice. You remember a few years ago, it seemed like every singer was going out of their way to be really obnoxious and annoying. It's not like that anymore. Singers are actually sounding nice. Yeah, really nice. Really nice. It's got some nice strings and some good subtle beeps. Reminds me a bit of Robin, funnily enough. Now, next up we've got Olivia Rodrigo. I'm not going to play it. It's a bit raucous compared to this. It's not remotely as kind of esoteric. It's a bit more heavy, which is no bad thing. In fact, it's quite a good thing. And it's another chapter in Olivia's musical psychodrama, which, as I used to say about Britney, it's fertile ground for good pop music. I'm not sure how based on real life Olivia's songs are. I suspect they probably are, to some degree or other. Definitely not boring, and there's definitely content in there. The music's not bad, it's striking. It's just not quite as good a song as Get Him Back, which was actually really well actualised tune. Really good. And it's not that. Now, things go a bit off the boil with Tate McRae and X's. I knew the good spell could at last. It's a great opportunity, though, for us to critically think about what's good and what's not so good. So I'd ask you to compare Tate McRae's vocals and the music with either this, Ariana, or Dua Lipa, or Chappell Roan. And you'll see that it's unlikable, it's not sexy, she sounds a bit more like a Muppet than a human being. The music's a bit more average. It's kind of well produced, but it's a bit dated, and it's just not likeable. And the Tate McRae one's probably the first one that I've actually wanted to skip. Not that it's that bad, but it's not that good either. Okay, interesting collab now. I'll get this one on. Great song there, great song. Ariana, We Can't Be Friends. But we have to crack on. We've got two friends who can be friends, I think. It's Noah Kahan and Sam Fender. So here's an interesting collab. And it's a good one. It takes both of them and it combines the best of both worlds, I would say. It's more kind of sort of pop rock, I suppose. Call it. The melody's not brilliant, but the combination of voice and styles keeps things interesting. Yeah, it's quite nice. So there we go, Noah and Sam. And we follow that up with a new face for this parish. Michael Markaki, excuse the pronunciation. He almost sounds like the missing link between Luke Combs and Louis Capaldi. It's a bit more rounded maybe than your average Louis Capaldi song. It's still essentially a ballad. The chorus melody's not bad and the tinkly pianos are nice. It's perfectly acceptable. That's Scared to Death, Michael McCarthy. Now, we've got Benson Boone again and Slow It Down. I've talked about simpering little girl vocals, but let's not be misogynistic. You can have simpering guys as well. Benson demonstrates that. Well, they start simpering his vocals, but they're getting a bit more angry. Maybe because people call it simpering. The song, however, is really good. It's got these really good kind of rhythmic organ stabs, and it's got a lot of dynamics. It's not afraid to jump from minimal to bombastic and back again. I'm not going to play it because I'm going to play the next one. It's my old friend Duvda David and Feel It. Now, I really enjoyed his last one, Here With Me. Even though I didn't think he sang it very well, it didn't really matter because the music was so good. Here, he actually sings it way better. The music's maybe not quite as good because that was so distinct and so like a one-off. But this is still pretty good indeed. Feel It. Not the Tampere song of the same name. Yeah, he sings much better on this one, I'd say. It's a little bit more up-tempo. It's still in that kind of 80s, 70s thing. It's really back. It really is. But yeah, it still kind of sounds modern as well. I'd say Daft Punk should get a lot of credit for this. And The Weeknd as well. He did a lot of this sort of stuff. They brought these kind of grooves back to the heart of pop music. So it's not quite as magical as Here With Me. But it's a really good summer jam. Yeah, good one. Now, Artemas next. Artemas. I Like the Way You Kiss Me. It has a similar tempo and groove to one of my own songs, Green Lady, although I think I prefer my own, because that's my interpretation of what to me is perfect pop. Only for me, not for anyone else. This might be your version of perfect pop. It's not a bad cover, not a bad attempt to cover similar ground, kind of 80s synth pop with a punky edge. It's pretty intense. It's got quite a dark, imposing quality. It's actually really good. Yeah, let's play it. Let's play it. Artemis and I Like the Way You Kiss Me. There we go with David and Feel It. Yeah, good one. And this is another good one. What's contender for Song of the Album so far? Well, a few. We'll go through it at the end and we'll figure it all out. But for now, here's Artemas. I Like the Way You Kiss Me. Next up, we've got the Blessed Madonna. Not Madonna, as I understand it. They used to call her the Material Girl 40 years ago. What do they call her now? Well, it's the first house-inflicted tune on here since Calvin's song, way back at the very beginning. So it's nice to have some fairly chill, get pumping summer house beats. It's alright, yeah. It's got some nice old school breaks and some good organ stabs. Very 1989. Her voice is maybe a bit too dominant, but I'm sure there'll be some other mixes where it's not quite as dominant. My old friend Becky Hill, Outside of Love. Takes her no time to go from 0 to 100 in terms of the voice. She cranks up the gears and hits Pete Becky pretty damn soon. By the time the beats join, we're already in hyperspace. So it's that ever so slightly more romantic, ever so slightly less banging version of Becky's music. It's more in keeping with the stuff she did with Galantis and stuff with Chasing Status, the one that we try and draw a veil over. And I think the melody's as good as some of the melodies she's done. Normally her melodies are absolutely brilliant, but her kind of gusto and her kind of passion gives it a good level of energy to it. So it's alright. Not Pete Becky, but pretty good. Nothing wrong with it. Now, there is something wrong with New Era, Birds in the Sky. The vocals, even at the right speed, they kind of be annoying, but at double speed, they're really incongruous with the rest of the music. Now, halfway through, they stop going normal and they go all stuttery, and that sounds rad. I really like that. If they just had that bit, it would have been great, and I think the song would have stood the test of time more. The vocals that are all sped up sound rubbish, but when they put that stuttery effect, it sounds good. And a similar stuttery effect is used on one of the most unlikely songs on here. Very good song there, Artemas, and I Like the Way You Kiss Me. Compare and contrast with one's own Green Lady, Highway 62, Say No More. We have Natasha Bedingfield and These Words. This song I really liked. I always liked it. I always liked the kind of conceit behind it. It was a real prime meta song, one of the best. A song about songwriting, lots of very clever lyrics. She made a comeback last time thanks to TikTok, I think it was. And they're kind of going all the way again with this one. It's a Badger rework. Whoever Badger is, I don't know. But he keeps saying it throughout the song. Badger. I really like that. It's kind of dumb and stupid, but I like it. I like things like that. It's great fun. It's nonsense, but fun. Badger. As for the song itself, it's kind of maybe a bit oversped up. But as I was saying, I got that same kind of stuttery effect that was on the last one. Wait for it. And yeah, that works. That's very clubby. Very clubby. That would sound so good in a club. I need to go out clubbing just so I can hear this in a club. Yeah, it's a good remix. Really good remix. Almost contender for Song of the Album if I could put an oldie as Song of the Album. Just a couple more on this side. We've got a really weird one now and another contender. I'm liking this album. I'm really liking it. It's 3 different people from all different kind of walks of life. Orville, Kylie Minogue and Diplo. Midnight Ride. And it's great. It's very different. Good one there from Natasha through the Mangler. And that's the Badger rework. So yeah, what's going on here, man? It's sort of country. It's got a kind of Nick Cave kind of vibe, and I think Kylie did a collab with Nick Cave, so you can kind of hear a resemblance of that to a certain extent. Definitely got a cowboy vibe, spaghetti western stuff. When Kylie comes through, decidedly processed Kylie, the second verse, she's got some castanets and spaghetti western guitars in there. And the chorus is a really good melody. Yeah. Kind of disco-y. What's the difference between disco and house then? I would say disco's more about the hat. whereas house would be more of a like do 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 do. So I'd say this is a bit more disco, but a bit of house in there. But it's also got all this cowboy stuff. And Kylie's in great voice here. It's good to hear her doing something like this, not cookie cutter. She's always at her best when she does stuff like this. Yeah, really good song, really good. And another good one now, it's Pet Shop Boys and Dancing Star. Well, it's really gone back to 1985 or 6. Listening to West End Girls the other day, thinking how fresh the beat sounded. It's almost exactly the same drums machine. They might have even dusted it off on Dancing Star. It's pure 1986 beat-wise, right down to the orchestral hits and the clattering hand claps. It's about the ballet dancer Rudolf Nureyev, so it's got some interesting lyrics. And it's much better than the rather underwhelming last single. Good one, good to have them back. Can we play it? Yeah, let's play some. So there was Orville, Kylie and Diplo and Dancing... Sorry, no, that was Midnight Ride. This is Dancing Star from our old friends, the Pet Shop Boys. Take it away, guys. Okay, so we follow this one with something from Switzerland. Don't get many acts from Switzerland. I think my favourite is probably Yellow. Unfortunately, it's not them. It is Nemo, which means it's Eurovision time. Well, there's an awful lot going on it. An awful lot going on. At heart, it's kind of a show tune, I suppose, really. But it's very big in scope. It's very dynamic. It has bits that are very quiet, and it has these kind of break beats that kind of filter and then build into an almost light D&B groove. And there's a symphony orchestra going gangbusters over the top of all that. So it's all highly camp and very, very Eurovision, which is what it was for. There's sonically a lot to appreciate. So yeah, something of a free pass. Maybe not one I'd listen to at home, but I'd doff my cap to what's going on there. I think you've done a good job. Now we've got Hosier. I'll get this one on because this is a new kind of groove for Hosier. And if it reminds me of something, I wonder if it reminds you of the same song. So anyway, there was Pet Shop Boys and the decidedly 80s Dancing Star. Here we've got Hosier and a song that harks back to the noughties, I would say. Can you work out which one I'm thinking of? Isn't That Crazy by Gnarls Barkley? It really is. It's maybe slightly kind of stiffer version of that. But over this kind of almost lo-fi groove, basically just bass and drums, Hosier adds a load of new stuff. Starts with his voice, then that throws in some space choirs, and by the time we get to the chorus, we've got some church bells. So you just kind of expect it to go into Crazy by Gnarls Barkley at any moment, and it doesn't quite, but it nearly does. Now, what happened to George Ezra? He seemed to disappear off the face of the planet. Haven't heard from George Ezra for a while, so into his place, covering very similar territory, is Miles Smith and Stargazing. So it's that kind of slightly folky, old style kind of pop, big gospely vocals. That's Miles Smith and Stargazing. Now, Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, I Had Some Help. Tell you what, when I criticised Rockstar by Post Malone, there was something about it that really rubbed me up the wrong way. And listening to this, I think I can figure out what it is. Because this song is probably as opposite to Rockstar as anything anyone could do under the same artist name. I'll get a bit of it on. So it's basically Post Malone and it features Morgan Wallen and it's called I Had Some Help. But they used to call him a rapper. And I always thought, this is not rap, this is nothing to do with rap. And you can kind of tell with this one because it's like a million miles away. Now that's not to say you can't have kind of hybrid sounds like Old Town Road and things, but this doesn't even have any kind of rap whatsoever. It's just pure, unadulterated, old-fashioned kind of rock and roll, really. And it makes me think this is Post Malone all along. I don't know why I did that other stuff. This seems to bring out his real personality. And as a result, it seems much more kind of emotionally honest. Even if it's not really my preferred genre, it seems more suited to him in a way. Now, I've only just started this, but I'm definitely playing the next one because it's another contender for Song of the Album. And it's one that I absolutely would call, quote, my genre, unquote. In that it's almost kind of really retro soul. Bit like the Niles Barkley influence that we just had. It's kind of harking back to something much older and much more kind of rootsy. So a bit of Post Malone there, and I had some help. Here's Teddy Swims and The Door. This is just immense. Definite contender for Song of the Album. Although, spoilers alert, there's a few more. Just a big, old-fashioned soul sound. It sounds like a really good tight band, whereas the Hosier one was maybe a bit more processed. This sounds a lot less processed. Maybe just a bit of reverb. But it's a really good song. A really good song. Got really good vocals. Now, I've already played one Dua Lipa, so I won't play the next one. It's Illusion. It's not quite as good as the one before. It's a bit more 90s than 80s. It's got a good groove, just not quite as winning an actual tune. But she does perform it well. You definitely shake a leg to it. I probably will play the next one actually. Just want to get a bit of this big chorus. Isn't it great? Teddy Swims. We follow this one up with another old hand, a veteran of the scene. Been around for a good 20, 25 years even maybe. And it is Mr. Justin Timberlake. And the song is called Selfish. So a bit of Teddy there and The Door. And a bit of Justin here. Now this song is built around a really old kind of beatbox. Like a 70s one. A bit like a CR78 or something. And on top of that you've got a kind of slightly heavier boom clap kind of beat. And then you've got these really nice low organ chords. And that's pretty much most of the backing. A few little kind of glidey sounds over that. Mainly just organ, drums, and Justin singing a very heartfelt voice. Nice sweet melody. So this is a goodie. This is a really good one. It's Selfish. Now we follow this one up with Scissor and Saturn. She's had a good time recently. I think she's been pretty big and universal, and she's got her own sound. It's definitely a unique sound. It's kind of hypnagogic, it's spacey, and it's kind of dreamy and gently funky. It's really nice, and it's always a better bet to sing about Saturn than Uranus. We'll leave that to Megan Trainor, thank you very much. Be Bad Doobie, Take a Bite. Now I feel this one's been a bit ruined. It's a bit over commercialised, a bit over processed and produced. For someone who I thought was basically a violin player, there's no violins on it. The chord sequence is quite interesting, but the backing track just kind of drags it all down. It's a bit stodgy. And, you know, what is Biba Doobie without violins? Best thing about her, really. Apart from the fact that her name rhymes with Kiba Doobie, and they're always pretty good. Gracie Abrams, Risk. Well, it's simpering girl vocal time again, kind of sub Suzanne Vega. It's all very derivative. It sounds like a rip-off of some 10-year-old Pink song. All very worthy, just kind of not my thing. However, it's a positive work of genius compared to the Charli XCX 360 abomination. You know, I had to sit through 2 minutes of skanky-looking women talking gibberish before the music even started, and then when it did start, 10 seconds and I was out. Worst song so far. Thankfully, it's followed by a couple of right goodies. First up, Rudimental. I won't play this one because I'm going to stack up the one after it. But it's Rudimental, and it's got Skepsis and Charlotte Plank and Rico Dan. A lot of people there, and it's Green and Gold. They've been a good 10 years appearing on these nows. They're a canny crew. They've picked up all sorts of tricks and techniques. Certainly know what they're doing, and they've always kind of mainly adhered to D&B whilst branching out every now and then into other stuff. This one's no exception. It's immaculately produced. It's got really good vocals and maybe a slightly superfluous rap section. It's only very short. So you can either edit it out or grin and bear it, according to taste and priorities. I'm not playing that one though, because I'm going for the second time. We feature Becky Hill. We didn't play the last one. I'm going to play this one. This is absolutely everything we like about Becky. This song actually made me well up a bit, and it probably will again. What can I say? What can I say? Well, this is the collab that she should have done with Chase and Status. She perfectly atones for it here, and it shows that it's perfectly possible to harness the increased BPM of DMV to Becky's uplifting, inspirational vocals. Very emotionally resonant, this one, and again I'm feeling myself welling up just thinking about it. Yeah, I want to say a massive thank you to Becky Hill for the great music you've made. Yeah, what a star, what a star. You know, in your head, you know this is the perfect Barnum statement. I will be right here for you. It's universal, it could be written for anyone. Anyone can hear that and think it applies to them. And that's the Barnum impact of great pop music. You hear it and you think it's made for you. Obviously you know it's not, I should hope. But for the minute you're listening to the song and you're in the zone, she's kissed all yours, man, or you're all hers, and it's just this meeting of minds. She showed up songs in the video. She's alright character. I got to go see one of her shows. She's got her adoring fans. It's not just me. She's brilliant. She's by far and away the best British pop star. She loses the point for having wind turbines in the video. Becky, I bet she didn't. I bet that one slipped through the net. But hey, what a great song, and a great sentiment. And she means it, you know, she will be here for us all. It's not just me, it's for everyone. She's here for society, to lift us up and to just provide absolutely inspiration. Absolutely brilliant. Another contender for Song of the Album. I think we need to rename a hill Becky Hill. Let's rename, I don't know, Scaffold Point, Dame Rebecca Hill. How about that? Absolutely great. Absolutely great. We follow it up with Jax Jones, which doesn't quite reach these heights, but it's pretty good. Never Be Lonely. Yeah, that's more good club music. It's kind of reminiscent of some indeterminate 90s Euro thing. Can't quite make out which one. Is it Mr. Vane or Rivers of Dancer? Somewhere in that ballpark. It's well sung and pumping. And we follow that one with Jess Glynn and Easy. Now, one of her songs has been in the Jet 2 advert. You can't keep away from it. Cups up every advert break, maybe even including this one if you're watching it. So she's done well out of that. This one's cut from the same cloth, and you can almost imagine it advertising as Asda or something if it's not really doing so. It does sound a bit familiar. Maybe, you know, not the freshest song ever. But it's good, it's uplifting. Yay, brilliant. The one and only Becky Hill. Absolute fan of hers. Absolutely brilliant song, that. Right, now we're going to follow this one up with Mabel, who used to do more kind of housey stuff, but now she's gone kind of full on R&B, and by Jove, I think it works really well. It's actually a really strong song, and it's another contender. It's really nice to hear her do some really authentic, slowed, chilled R&B stuff, very classy. Her voice is absolutely brilliant on it. It's got a kind of old school funk groove. Very good indeed. Now, Will Young, I was never really a fan of that kind of stuff, the talent show stuff, although he was one of the better ones. The song, Falling Deep, it's a bit wimpish really. It's a bit like Early Years and Years with a side order of Sting. It's pretty bland, but it's got a certain je ne sais quoi. It's not too bad. Take That Follow, who must be about 90 by now, and it's You and Me. It's big and anthemic. It's just a bit overwordy. Yet again, it's one of those songs that's got too many words, and it just makes it a bit not very melodic. If you cut down some of the words, have a few and make them more melodic, like you did with things like Back for Good. You know, you don't need many words to make something really memorable. It's nice enough, just won't go down as a classic. Snow Patrol are back with The Beginning, which starts very slowly before suddenly all the drums come in. It has got some bad language on the original, doesn't make it onto the now version. A bit superfluous really. So all in all, it's kind of a bit of a whinge fest. Much better and much more what we want right now is a bit of Nathan Evans. How on earth am I going to mix from this to that? That was Mabel and a very good song called Vitamins. Very nutritional indeed. Yep, it's good old Nathan Evans. You can always rely on him. This is a strange beast. It's more Scottish nationalism, if you like. We don't talk about the SNP. So it's deeper than that. Far deeper than that. Yeah, it's rousing. It builds. And it's great to have it on a Now. This is what you want on a Now album, really. Proper grassroots stuff. Just people like it. Okay, so Nathan Evans. Now, I kind of want to play the next one as well. I might line it up. There's a few just to end off. And it's probably the best of the last lot. So I'll get it stacked up. It's Liam Gallagher and John Squire. Especially since I didn't quite play their last one. Kind of want to play this one. Raise Your Hands. Probably play out with that one. It's really good. It's like this. It's quite rousing. It's quite pub rocky. If anything, it sounds a bit more like Oasis than anything Liam's done for a long time, albeit less bloated and a bit more intimate. So it's still a good sing-along tune. We'll play out that one probably. Raise Your Hands. Bon Jovi and Legendary. Well, they've made their first Now appearance, I think on Now 9, with Living on a Prayer. And this is nowhere near as rocky as that. It's a bit more kind of milquetoast, even by their standards. It's okay though, it's quite nice. Galantis and David Guetta and 5 Seconds of Summer. Lighter. Well, it's a lot of people there, an awful lot of people, and you've got an orchestra as well. So it's kind of orchestral dance music. Maybe it kind of falls under its own weight. It's not really got the kind of solid foundations to kind of prop it up. But a lot of people seem to like it. I should play this next one really. Medusa. I tell you what, I'll play a little bit of Liam and then we'll end with Medusa. So there's Home, Nathan Evans, and here is Liam and John Squire, Raise Your Hands, which I should imagine follows that one fairly well. Yeah, this is good. We're going to play out then the last song, which I'll get stacked up. Medusa, One Republic, Leone, Fire, which is the official UEFA Euro 2024 tune. I was watching my old video for Gala Free for Desire, and I said that it was a really forgotten tune, but then it had this second life as a kind of football anthem. I think someone even commented on that. So it's amazing, isn't it, to think what songs are going to become football anthems? Will any of these become terrace anthems? Who knows? Anyway, yeah, Medusa, One Republic and Leone. Well, it's very good, sporting kind of song. I'll put a bit of it on and we'll go through the roundups of this very good album. Really good album, really good. Hardly any duff tracks, only a few. Loads of really good ones of all across the spectrum here. It's not been the most dancey album. It's been quite rocky, if anything, or soft rock. You know, a few years ago you thought guitars were gone for good, but now you got kind of Nathan Evans and people. So just goes to show what goes around comes around. What's going to be the real lasting classics from this lot then? Let's see. Well, we get off to a good start-ish. I think of all the first few, the really best of the lot would probably be Dua Lipa, Training Season, Chappell Roan, particularly Good Luck Babe, and Ariane Grande, We Can't Be Friends. And of those three, I'd probably give Chappell just the edge because it's a new talent. Certainly on the Nows anyway. We had some pretty good stuff from Noah and Sam, Michael, Benson, David. Artemas was really good. The Blessed Madonna was alright. Becky, Outside of Love's not as good as the other one, so a good warm up there. A kind of aperitif. What do they call it? Something excite bouche or something. Let me know in the comments. Amuse bouche, that's it. There's an amuse bouche of Becky Hill there with Outside of Love, but the main course coming up. New Order. New Era, Birds in the Sky wasn't great. Interesting remix, Badger and Natasha Bedingfield. Did like that. And I really liked Orville, Kylie and Diplo, and I think that will be remembered. Midnight Ride. It's definitely something about that. Kind of vintage Pet Shop Boys-ish with Dancing Star. Hosier Too Sweet's good, but not as good as Crazy, on which he's clearly modelled Niles Barkley. The Post Malone one was a surprise. Teddy Swims, absolute classic. I think that'll be remembered years from now. Another contender for Song of the Album. Worst song, definitely Charli XCX, no question. Another contender, Becky Hill, right here. I'd love to make that best song on the album. I think I'm just going to give it to Teddy Swims, just because he's not made it yet and Becky has. Vitamins by Mabel was really good. Nathan Evans, St. Phoenix, Home, yeah, good laugh. Raise Your Hands, Liam and John, good. And this is a good sports anthem, yeah, it's definitely rousing. Leaves you on a high. So there we go, folks. Let me know what you think. Now 118. It continues to go from strength to strength. I continue to enjoy doing these videos every few months. If I don't enjoy it, I'll stop doing them, but I really enjoyed this one, and I hope you have as well. Go out and buy the records. If anyone still needs telling, this is a review. You're not going to get the actual songs here, you're just going to get me talking about it, but I hope that makes you talk about it and think about it and enjoy some great music. See you later, guys.